What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. You know, the sports card dad catches a lot of flack in our hobby just because he tries to monetize his channel. He takes some advertising and puts it in his videos. But have you guys heard about Neo? You know what he's doing? Apparently, I know. Let me get the notes here. Yeah. Apparently, for $499 a month, or for one-time purchase of $20,000, you can have Neo move into your house and do all your chores for you. He'll bring you a beer. He'll dust Mike. For you. He'll run the vacuum cleaner. So that got me thinking, you know, looking at EP's background there, I think we should start a GoFundMe so EP can buy Neo.
No. Again, it's wrong. Different Neo, man. It's the robot Neo. There's a Neo named Robot. You can tell because the robot looks directly at the camera. That's the telltale sign when the robot's looking right here. So no, it's a different thing, Mike. Oh, different thing. Okay. But maybe Neo would.
Can we still do the GoFundMe?
Yeah,
does the robot actually look into the camera, Joe? Is that true? Like, is it sentient? Does it know to look into the camera?
Who knows? Who knows when the robots have taken over everything? Or maybe EP can just pay Neo of Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics $20,000 to clean up that mess. I mean,
that might be worth it, actually. Oh, I joke, but I'm joined by these two guys, Joe Day and EP Eric the Halleck. How you doing, boys?
Great. I'm great.
I'm doing great. I'm doing really,
when you turn
great.
Sideways, it's so ridiculous.
There we go. I'm doing phenomenal, boys. You know why? 5 in a row. 5 wins.
Crazy.
The Pitt Panthers, after starting 2-2, have won 5 in a row. Now 7-2. Mason Heisman had a little bit of a rough fourth quarter, but we still pulled it out against Stanford. Very good game. I was pumped. This is probably the last time I'll get to gloat. Well, next week they're idle. So next week I'll gloat as well because it'd be 6 weeks in a row without a loss. So I'll be very happy about that. But this is probably the last week I'll be able to gloat about a win. They play Notre Dame, they play Miami, and they play Georgia Tech for the next three weeks. But the other streak that is continuing in college football, boys. 5 losses in a row for EP's favorite team, the Penn State Nittany Lions. Boys and girls watching out there, EP is exhausted today. No, he did not set up a card show. He drove all the way out to Ohio State to watch the Penn State Nittany Lions get their ass handed to them by the Ohio State Buckeyes. EP, did you just get back off the road? What are you doing? I mean, are you feeling good? You tired from the drive? What's going on?
Inaccuracies. No, I'm tired, but I did set up at a card show yesterday. I did not drive to Ohio State.
That's how what I remember. But again, I could just be making all this up. It's completely possible.
I think the hat is cutting off the blood flow to your brain. I think
it might be. Hold on, everyone, get prepared to see the bald spot. Woo! There it is. There it is. Everyone, you're welcome.
I might need to blur that out.
Yeah, I know. Children, not safe for children.
This little strip right here. Let's blur it out.
You have to mosaic it. No, and I'm also going to turn that off. But no, I'm so happy. In fact, I'm going to have a fall beer. I'm going to have a Warlock from the brewery that we do not mention from the Harrisburg Hershey area. Very tasty. EP, you're going to join me in having a alcoholic beverage.
I am, and just for a second, this is my favorite beer of the year, Sierra Nevada Celebration Fresh Hop IPAs. It's supposed to be a Christmassy beer, but it's out November 1st. So I'm a little upset.
Christmas trees are out November 1st. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's gonna be gone. Like they're not gonna have it anymore by the time Christmas rolls around.
You have to buy a whole bunch of it now.
Buy a case of it.
Yeah, but that's dangerous. I'll just drink it all. You know, it's not gonna stick around on Christmas.
It's not gonna last till Christmas.
Not with that attitude. So real quick, so five weeks in a row of Pitt winning, of Penn State losing. So it's been great. But also, I feel like it's 5 weeks in a row of me complaining about the eBay PSA authentication program. We got another one, boys. My buddy John reached out to me again. Got another one on the streak. So this is the most, in my opinion, the most egregious of all of them. So it was a Leonard Nimoy autograph card, on card, Rittenhouse. He listed it as he should, excellent, whatever, so they don't flag him. This is a different Nimoy auto, by the way, EP. We were talking about the Nimoy a couple weeks ago. So anyway, it gets flagged. It's authentic, but it's cut short from the factory.
Wait, from the authentication, not from grading? Wait, hang on.
eBay got the card through the authentication program, the raw card through the authentication program, kicked it back as authentic, but cut short from the factory, not trimmed, cut short from the factory. This is the worst one. This is the most egregious one of PSA pre-grading cards. This is not something they should be looking at. They are the only company who does that. They are the only company who what are they, min size require? I'm surprised they didn't use their own fucking code for it. Min size, whatever.
That'd be 2 on the nose, right? That'd be 2 on the nose.
That'd be 2 on the nose.
Yeah, they can't do that.
But we see you, PSA. We see what you're doing. This is the worst one by far. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, just another one. I can't wait till next week, boys, to tell you what authentic kickback because not in PSA slab. I'm waiting for it. At what point do we get to that? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So
what is a seller supposed to do? Am I supposed to like have a micrometer there to measure to the exact millimeter the size of the freaking card that came out of a pack? That's absolute bullshit. That's min size to be graded. Not min size to be a card. You're allowed. It's what it is. If it's raw, you can't kick something back for min size. Like that's bullshit. Wow.
Yeah, that's the worst one. When he sent this to me, I like almost dropped my phone, almost swerved into traffic. This is the worst one by far. And yet again, it is PSA basically forcing people to grade their cards. I don't even know what you would have done in this situation. Like, this card may be, I don't even know. Do you sell it as, this is what PSA said about the card? That's, I guess, the only way you could get it through.
You sell it again because the next guy won't market it that. That's the same same thing people do when they have it come back.
Get a mid-size.
They just send it in again and somebody passes it. So
it's crazy. What's absolute craziness.
Has nothing to do with authenticity. Authenticity guarantee. If they're saying it's authentic, but no.
So it's authentic. You said, Mike, you said you can't send that back, but they freaking did. Like the thing is, it came out of a pack. They're even specifically saying it came out of the pack from the manufacturer, minimum size. Like it makes zero sense whatsoever.
As authentic as authentic can be.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I don't, this is not like, those cards are not my space where I don't deal in that space, but like, I'm worried now if you ever pull a card like the Drew Jones or, like any of these cards that, that are potentially like that, like they're, again, we've talked about this for as many weeks as Joe's been talking about it. They're trying to make everybody grade all their cards. Like, do we have to absolutely grade every single card?
What
it's ridiculous.
It's not, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. You have to grade a card now. If you pull a good card out of a pack, you can't sell it raw. PSA probably did this on purpose. Oh, let's get in with eBay there, and then we'll start doing this so people have to grade their card. And we probably won't get to it later, so I'll say it now. They're extending their grading. You can buy something on PSA now, get it graded, and send it to the vault without ever getting the card. So clearly, this is all just part of their initial plan to get people to grade cards and now get people to send them to the vault. And then in turn, they'll be able to sell them on eBay for you. Like they're not only trying to cut out the middleman, they're trying to cut out you from your own card. Like, I want to buy that card. I don't want it to have to be graded. I don't want it to go to the vault. I don't want you to sell it for me. I might actually want the damn card to put it like in a shelf behind me, but they're getting to the point where you can't.
The thing is, like Probstein and Chris Sewell's, like their auction house or whatever, like they're all like, "Oh, this is great news for us." I mean, Like if this sort of stuff keeps happening, so I mean, people are going to look for somewhere else because
I would.
Yeah, I mean, I if I was this guy, I'd be so upset. Like, if I was your buddy Joe, I'd be so upset. Like this is ridiculous.
He's got a good he's not as pissed as I probably would be. He's just really annoyed. That being said, it's kind of a joke now. We're like, oh, can't wait to see what they kick back next week for some bullshit reason. Like, honestly, it's kind
That's
of
a good way to take it. But I mean,
messaging. But it really sucks. And we're talking $500-$600 cards. And EP, you were talking about your Drew Jones. Thank God CGC was doing the raw card authentication back when you pulled that card. When they, just authenticated the card. Like, I completely agree. If a card comes in and it's bent in half, sure, it's authentic, but it's bent in half, and they did some funny things with the photos.
It's got a round corner that doesn't show up on the photos. Or something
they just pulled back enough that you don't see it. Like, sure, I get that. This is egregious though. Little dots on the back of the card, little dimples, little indentations that gets kicked back. A slightly rounded corner on what should be considered a PSA 7. I see rounded corners on PSA 9s. So it's just unbelievably inconsistent, and they're just looking for ways to push you back towards the grading space, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's really a shame, and I feel bad for my buddy John. Luckily, he's kind of taking it stride is the phrase I was looking for earlier. But yeah, it's just very annoying.
So what's new with you, EP? How are you going to top that?
I can't really. I just want to talk a bit about the card show yesterday. There was like 3 or 4 card shows going on within like an hour and a half of the card show. But from the sounds of things, at least the closest card show to us, like the one that we were at was the one to be at. Like, there's a lot of good foot traffic, lots of dealers, and it was a great time. A lot of the normal dealers were there. Some people I haven't seen for a while. Card show Kevin showed up. I haven't seen him since like August. So it was good to see him, talk to him for a little while. And but I did great. I had talked to a lot of cool people. I talked to one guy who there was with his wife, and he's collecting the top 100 basketball players of all time, the rookie cards for all the top 100 of all time, which is really cool. We found an Oscar Robertson and a who's the other one that he found? He found 2 of them at the show. I was like, well, I don't have any of those to help you here, but I want to hear more about your collection. Talked to him for a little bit. Talked to Clint, one of the dealers that sets up, and somebody who's always comes over and talks to me, and knows me as EP, and so we talked for a bit. I talked to a lot of really cool collectors, really cool dealers. Like just a great day all around. I made a decent profit.
Did you sell any cards?
I did. I sold.
Okay.
I sold. Like I'm to the point now where I have my stack of $10 to $20 cards, $10 to $20 cards. I'll say 10 plus. There are a lot of them in there that they list for 10 to 20, but they're not going to sell it at a show like the show we have here at 10 to 20. So like they're better like an eBay type 10 to 20. So I need to find some of those, like more like liquid. I hate to use that word, liquid cards to put in my case, but that's where I'm at right now. I sold a lot of those. The weird thing is I've had these Marvel cards from the Infinity Saga, the Upper Deck set, which was a great set. But I've been putting these things out in my case and in like my riser stand that I have. I'm putting them out there for like I think 6 shows, maybe more than that. And for some reason, I sold 4 of them yesterday, all from the exact same spot in my case. I kept putting moving stuff around, putting another one in my case, and they just kept selling. It was the craziest thing. The Wolverine, Doctor Doom, I think Scarlet Witch, and Iron Man. I sold I just sold all these weird the parallels for it, but for some reason that spot, everybody that came looked at my table. Not everybody, but so many of them sold. It's just a weird, kind of a weird fun day.
I have a question about that. So when someone bought the first one, my first instinct would be like, oh, I actually have some more if you're interested in those. It sounds like you did not do that.
I did not. But I had 3 of them together down in that corner. Three of the bigger ones down in that corner. And so the person was looking was saw the Iron Man one, left and came back and said, okay, well I'm gonna actually buy that Iron Man. And then I put that and a Wolverine down there, and then somebody else came over and said, oh, I like that Wolverine. And then he asked to see it, and then he flipped it over, was looking at it, so probably going to grade it, but it looks of the way he was looking at it. And then I just kept, like I said, I kept putting them down there as they came out. I put the Doctor Doom down. Well, the Doctor Doom was already down there. Was one of the 3 original ones down there. The guy who bought the Iron Man came back and bought the Doctor Doom.
Oh, okay. So it worked out anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of, real quick, I was almost remiss. Mike mentioned something before we started recording. Speaking of non-sports comic book characters, you might notice I'm different here. These are 2 different comic books. This is actually, Mike, this is Green Lantern 46. Yeah. The Reign of the Superman, Green Lantern, where Coast City gets destroyed. This is a comic you can't really see it because of the glare. It's a Wolverine. It's a remark cover or whatever Mike Jones gave to me. The reason I have these up here is because I took the 3 Silver Surfers down. Because I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm sending them off to the guy I've talked about a lot of times on this podcast, Jim from Improved Collecting. He's going to crack them out, repress them, re-clean them, and send them off. I like the way he does his stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they get grade bumps. It's not really about that. I kind of just want him to do his thing and make them the best version of themselves. And I talked to Rob, who is kind of co-owner of these comics, and he goes, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, that's where they are at. They will be gone for probably a few weeks. I need to find some. For some reason, I didn't think the camera caught this one in previous videos, but clearly it does.
It's the biggest one.
It's the biggest one right here. For some reason, I didn't think of that. So I'll probably have to move something here. Maybe
move the one above it down. Yeah.
That's already gone too.
Never mind.
Because that's the Todd Spawn one from McFarlane.
Oh, okay.
Right there it is. So that's off. That'll be gone for a while too. So it's a cluster here at the Day of States.
That's exciting though. I'm looking forward to seeing you getting that back. That's fun. A fun thing to do.
It'll be fun to see him do a video reveal of it. Actually, I mean that'll be pretty cool as well. So money where my mouth is. The best guy doing clean and pressing. I'm going to send it to him and see what happens. So
have they been cleaned and pressed before? Was it?
They were by CSS. But you can tell actually when they got back, there was a lot of reversion in them. They got wavy and stuff like that. So he's like, he looked at it. He looked at the grader's notes, looked at pictures I sent him. He's like, yeah, I think we can get a bump on those. Can't guarantee it, but I think we can. And it'll be actually like, I think it'll at least equal the grade that they should be at. I think they got a little bit of a bump because I went with CSS. I think we talked about that, Mike, on the reveal. I'm like, I went with the in-house cleaning and pressing company, assuming that would give it a grade bump.
All right. Well, I don't have much going on. I do actually. I have a pack stack sale starting this Wednesday. I just noticed in the description there's a little link to my Twitter, so you can hit that button and go there. If you want to buy some cool retro packs starting Wednesday through Saturday, I'm gonna have all kinds of stuff there. You want them. Think how much better your life would be with more packs.
Oh no.
But we better get into this because we have a lot to talk about this week, boys. And I'm not just kidding. This might be a 4-hour podcast. I don't know.
You're welcome, everyone.
We will see. Might have to record it in like parts. I don't know. Maybe
we might have something to do around
intermission.
We might have something to do in about an hour. So
all right. Well, there were a couple one of the big stories that came out this week toward the end of the week. I believe it was Thursday last week. It came out that Panini is exploring a sale. Apparently, Italian newspaper, I think, 2 Sol 24. I don't know. I don't live in Italy. EP, is that what it's called? Yeah.
I don't. Okay. I'm not sure. But you gotta say
you're a newspaper
accent. Yeah, but you gotta say what that is in an accent.
I don't know how to say that in an Italian accent.
I will get canceled. Please don't.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll clip that out. But anyway, they are apparently looking into a full or partial sale. They've retained City to field opportunities for them. We know that we did speak, I think earlier this year, that the CEO had passed away. So I think it was owned by him and 2 sisters, if I'm correct. So, seeing that maybe they're looking into a sale isn't really all that surprising. It's expected to accelerate like mid 2026 after the World Cup. So kind of sounds like they're going to cook their numbers as well as they can to try to get what they can for the company. The valuation of the company is apparently between 2.9 and 4.6 billion dollars.
I think between 3 of us, I think we can probably pull that off.
We probably could, yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently private equity firms that are involved in entertainment and toy industries could be interested. But another name that was thrown out there was Fanatics, because why wouldn't Fanatics' name be thrown out there? But first of all, are you surprised at all by the fact that we're seeing Panini might go up for sale?
I'm not. I mean, we've talked about this since they lost the licenses. We were like, at what point is this just going to go away? And they've done their level best to try and pump out product after product after product. You know, what's the not Exquisite? What's the big product that they just put football and basketball out for? You know what I'm talking about? The one that was like $20,000, $40,000 or something.
I forget what it's
like
called.
That.
Yeah,
because we don't play in that space. So I do like the bricks.
Eminence. Yeah.
So they're pumping out a lot of products, and the only thing they really have now here, or will have now here in the next couple of months, is the WNBA license. So it doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me they're waiting until after the World Cup either, because they will pump out a lot of soccer card stickers and things like that over that time. To your point, Mike, probably trying to boost their valuation a little bit. Like, look, we kill it here in this European soccer market. So that's a big help. I know Dan the Card Man loves a lot of their soccer products as well. He talks about them quite a bit. So they have a lot of potential to goose that number a little bit. But yeah, it does not shock me at all. If they don't at least sell the US portion of it, I would be floored. Like, I could see them keeping the European side of it, keeping those soccer stickers, because I'm sure they still do really well with those.
Yeah.
But selling the US side of it almost seems like, obviously someone's going to buy it at some point, because there's no way that they're going to keep it without any US licenses other than the WNBA. And how long can you really go back to that? Well, I mean, I know Caitlin Clark's huge, but you need a Caitlin Clark every couple of years to carry a license like that to really keep that company going. So yeah, it's got to happen. We just don't know to who officially.
Yeah, just quickly, Paige Beckers is a really exciting player. Like a lot of people are excited about her, but she doesn't have the kind of pull that Caitlin Clark does. Like you said,
what's my telltale test?
Yeah, your
the Wayne L. Day.
The
Wayne L. Day test. He has no idea who Paige Beckers is. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Joe. I'm just like, I don't want to repeat everything you said, but you spot on with all of it. They have that, the stickers and stuff in the Europe and the European market, and I feel like they're going to probably try to keep that. They have access to there's so many soccer leagues, they can probably get a bunch of contracts to the soccer leagues and that sort of stuff too. But as far as the American stuff, that's to your original question, not surprising at all. Not surprising they're waiting until 2026 either, which is when they lose the football license. And I got to tell you, the prices they're gonna put on those football cards as we get closer and closer to them being done, like they're already
they already are,
right?
yeah,
they're already through the roof. But I mean, like, it's gonna get worse and worse. I feel like because they know they're gonna be able to sell them. They're gonna have all this money. They're gonna say, hey, look how much we're worth now when they try to sell. And I think that's probably, I didn't think about that when we were talking at the show on Saturday. Mike, you wrote about how we were talking to I think it was Ethan about how the prices of a lot of these hobby boxers is just so expensive, and how that they're not going down. They're like the absolute price. What was that price? I think that was the one.
$700.
Yeah, $700 for absolute. Yeah, so just crazy, and like that's gonna keep going up. And I didn't think about it in these terms where they're just trying to boost up their money for the sale. Like that seems like a definitely a thing.
Here's my question, though. Regardless of who might be interested in buying it, and we'll get into that in a minute, they currently still have the NFL license, but they lose that next year. They have FIFA, WNBA, NASCAR, Live Golf, and they have some deals with European basketball leagues. So obviously in Europe and the rest of the world, there's a market there for their cards. But my question is, you look at this valuation and you say, yeah, but you're counting all the basketball cards you sold, you're counting all the football card sales you had, and you're counting World Cup soccer cards. The World Cup comes around, every 4 years? Mm-hmm. So that's going to be 4 years. You're not going to have football. You're not going to have basketball. Where, like, you can show me all your revenue and all your sales, but they're not the sales that if I buy this from you after the World Cup that I'm going to have, because you don't have two of the licenses, and the other main thing there is 4 years away. I feel like this is going to be a hurdle for anybody to purchase this, because they're trying to show their company at its most profitable when the things they're making profit on, they don't have to make profit on anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could, I mean, whether or not the World Cup comes around every 4 years, you could still make World Cup cards. I mean, they've done that in the past. And you could even stretch it to say every 2 years because of the Women's World Cup. With women's sports exploding a little bit more now, especially with the WNBA. Women's soccer was always really huge here, comparatively speaking. You know, they're
Right.
a much better team than the men's team. So you could kind of stretch that to believe that you could get every 2 years a big World Cup set. But yeah, that's a really good point, Mike. I mean, other than we're going to talk a little bit about Wednesday, so I don't want to dive too deep into it. But other than saving some of that IP, which would be more of a benefit to collectors than it would be to the company buying it, potentially buying it, right? What's the point? I mean, are you going to get enough out of the WNBA? I even just said a couple of minutes ago, is there enough in the WNBA license? Is there enough? Is the juice worth the squeeze, right? In the WNBA license, is it worth it in the soccer license world? Live Golf? Really? I mean, like
there are big names in Live Golf.
There
golf isn't a big enough sector of the hobby.
It's not the NBA. It's not even close to the NBA, right? I mean,
right. So they have these things, and that's a really good point you bring up about the valuation because, yeah, they're getting valued at the peak. It's like if you try and trade a quarterback who just threw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns and had never done anything else before, you know, like and they lost all their wide receivers or something.
And he tore his ACL.
And you're trying like you're trying to sell at the absolute tippy top. And I don't think some companies are going to fall for that, you know?
Yeah, Joe, again, all great points. I don't want to copy everything you said, but I agree 100% with everything you said. My thought as you were talking was, as Mike was talking about this part of the topic, the NBA, I brought it up, I interjected there a second ago, like that. I don't know what the numbers are as far as like what they sell for everything, but I bet NBA is probably their most profitable. So if you're going to sell, they should have sold last year before they lost the NBA license. They're going to have a year. They're going to have all 2025 to see what Panini looks like without the NBA, which I believe is probably their most profitable. NFL is huge. We're huge NFL fans, but I feel like the NBA, there's more people with deeper pockets spending more money on NBA stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to hurt them even more when you think about it in terms of, like you were saying, like the valuation. I think people are going to look at it and say, listen, you didn't have basketball for a year and look at your numbers now. I mean, you can't give us this valuation. This is not even close. So they really hurt themselves if this is the case, not selling last year when they still had everything, all the ammunition in their.
And I don't think they have any like massive exclusive athletes, right? I don't think they do. Like it's not like Upper Deck.
They have a couple.
They have Luka.
Oh, do they?
Probably the biggest one, yeah.
And they have Arch Manning,
yeah,
Caitlin Clark, Arch Manning. So, I mean, are those athletes worth $3 billion, $4 billion? Probably not. I mean, at some point they're going to leave anyway. So it's like any company who buys them could just play the waiting game with these athletes and get them later. You know, so there's no big reason to go after it now when they're at the height of their valuation or close to it, with your point about basketball EP.
Okay, so the name Fanatics was dropped in here because why wouldn't it be? Mm-hmm. But Fanatics came out, sources within Fanatics came out apparently the next day and said that they don't have any interest in buying Panini. They did offer over $2 billion for Panini back in 2022. Back when they had the issues with Panini cooking the books back then, which kind of, seeing how they're trying to play this now, kind of makes me think that they probably did give them the wrong set of books. But I digress. My question is for both of you guys, twofold question. Why would it make sense for Fanatics to buy it? And why wouldn't it make sense for Fanatics to buy Panini?
The first thing you said about the $2 billion valuation, that was, or that $2 billion offer in 2022, that was probably low, right?
Yeah,
like, so I get why Panini wouldn't want to do it then. And that's probably a fair number now, if that makes sense. So why would Fanatics do it? So I honestly don't have a good answer for that, other than buying the IP to high-end established products, the Eminence, the National Treasures, the Flawless, things like that. Like, because people are so trained to buy these every year that maybe they don't want to rock the boat with some of the products they're going to put out. But then I'll even argue against myself and say people are just going to buy whatever is available anyway. So what's it matter, right? The only reason for them to buy Panini is to help people who love some of these Panini products. And there are people out there who do, to give them that. But are you going to spend? We already know they're not spending money to help the collector experience now. Why would they spend billions of dollars to help the collector experience then? EP has, I don't know what's going on there.
I don't either, but he's making a lot of noise down there.
Yeah. And then the second question is, why wouldn't they buy it? Correct? Or other than what I just said about they don't care about the collector's experience, because they don't want people to say, well, you're definitely a monopoly now. Right? Like, that would be the first thing. I mean, I will say I've been calling it for a while that they're a monopoly. I've been calling them we better not call them a monopoly, but come on. I've been saying that for years. Imagine if they bought their number 2 competition, right? Like, there aren't, as much as you can send other cards off to be graded, and there are actual other options. So while PSA feels like a monopoly, no, you can. The CGC is grading a lot of cards too. When you take away Panini and it's just Panini and Fanatics combined, what are you buying Leaf now? Like, what? It's a full blown monopoly at that point. If you want any cards from the major sports other than hockey for now. So yeah, I think they would say, "Oh no, we don't. We want another company out there to give us competition." I could see that being the excuse.
Yeah, ditto on everything Joe said again. Like I just agree with it 100%. The questions are, I mean, the 2 questions are like the same, right? They're the same thing. Like, they want to get it because then they would save Don Russ. They would save some of these iconic IPs that are throughout from the hobby, Diamond Kings, that sort of stuff, Red Rookies. All these things would stay. They would maintain these things, but then also, they would, if they're not a monopoly, they're getting closer to a monopoly. They're getting closer to the point where people are like looking at them saying, with this one company has all of these things, all of these lines of cards and all of these things. Like, if you want to buy a card from football, baseball, or basketball, like, you literally have to buy it from this company. It would be the biggest concern. Marvel, Star Wars, Disney. Yeah. I mean, so like, it's getting to the point where it's getting closer and closer to that. If it's not that already, it's getting closer and closer.
Well, you know how I feel on the monopoly thing, but anyway, let's also keep in mind that the only company you could buy a football card from for the last 10 years has been Panini. The only company you've been able to buy a basketball card for the last 15 years has been Panini. So, it's really no different unless you collect everything and think you should have options. Like, it's been a monopoly. If this is a monopoly now, it's always been a monopoly, but
that doesn't make it right? Like, I agree with you. Like, they've had the licenses, they've had to re-up them every 5 years for 15 years. No one has competed against that licensing. No one has competed for it. But while I agree with you in principle, yeah, it's been a monopoly with Panini, doesn't mean it's right now. Like, I still think it's a monopoly. I can think it was then. I can think it is now. I think it's still a monopoly.
Until you can find a way to tell people what they have to do with their intellectual property, I don't know how you avoid this situation. And this is what I've always said about it. And this is what everybody that talks about monopoly, it starts with the exclusive deals. If the leagues didn't have exclusive deals, there would be no talk of Fanatics having a monopoly. If you how do you govern? Like, if I want to sell the rights to the Mike's Retro Trading Card podcast cards, who is the government or anybody to tell me that, well, I have to let both Topps and Panini make them? I don't. If one of them's going to pay me more money to make the cards, I can give them an exclusive deal. Like that's where the issue comes in. This isn't like just this isn't a necessity, a product that's just being made. It's something that like it's an intellectual property product. So you can't force somebody to have to take less money for their intellectual property.
But they did regulate the EA purchase by I can't Blizzard, I think it was. Like they regulated that sort of stuff, and that not all of the video game companies are through.
But you're talking about a much broader, something that has a much broader impact. Different types of games. There's way more licenses involved in the games, and way more games out there than just the foot. If it was just about football, baseball, and basketball, it would apply here. But it's different because it's broader reaching.
Okay.
Two points real quick. Number one, if we license the MRTC trading cards, we better go with Rittenhouse or I'll be pissed. Or Upper Deck. We can get a jambalaya.
Money.
It's all about the money. Come at us. Let us know. The other point is, and I have said this for a while too, and I agree with your point, Mike, about the intellectual property. I've said since the beginning, while legally it probably isn't a monopoly, it really like the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law thing on this one. It feels like a monopoly.
Oh, functionally, you really don't, it absolutely is.
Yeah,
but
legally,
I don't know how. My point is, how can you change it? I don't see any way you can change it, and it's not really a big enough thing. Plus, our government is allowing way bigger mergers of way bigger companies.
Right.
So something like trading cards, it's never going to be.
And
something.
Ruben's loving that. He's seen all these other mergers. He's like, we're too small for this.
Yeah, but since I wasn't allowed to answer this question, can I please answer here? The reason why they would, to me, is pretty obvious, because the IPs, there's literally no other reason for them to buy it. If they think, we could make a lot of money if we print Prism and Optic and some of their flawless and national treasures, they would do that. Reason why they wouldn't is because I've said all along, they don't need those. They really don't. You can come out with other lines. I know right now, with everybody having been used to all these brands, go back to us. We had Pinnacle, and we had Pacific, and we had Fleer. We had all these cool things we really like to buy that don't exist anymore. And new things took the place of it. That's what's going to happen. They don't have to do it. So if the price is right, which that's going to be the key to all this, whether the price is right, they can just go get the WNBA license if they want that. Like, they can. They've shown it with everything else. So if they really wanted it, they just go get it. I see no other benefit here other than that little pesky lawsuit thing that's going on. I feel like maybe if Fanatics feels like there's a chance that they could maybe lose the antitrust lawsuit, buying Panini, as ironic as it is to buy the competitor that's suing you, but as part of a settlement, instead of settling out of court, get something for your settlement. That would be the number one reason I would see them actually buying Panini.
Isn't our country great, everyone?
I mean, am I wrong though? Like, that would be the reason. If they buy that, I guarantee you it's for no other reason. They'll say a bunch of things, but the real reason is that lawsuit. Yeah, okay, we're done. We'll give you $2 billion. You shut the hell up. We'll just all go our merry way.
Which is hysterical.
It is.
Like, it's totally. You're completely right, but it's also completely ridiculous at the same time. I mean, like, I don't know if that bolsters any like lawsuit like Leaf could lobby or lob it at Fanatics at that point. Leaf's like, buy us and we'll get rid of the lawsuit too. Like, everyone's just doing Fanatics to sell to them. Like, fantastic. I mean, Michael Rubin thinks like a businessman. So if he has any inkling, if his lawyers have given him any sort of like, ooh, maybe, then it's possible. if not, I mean, he would have to be convinced that there is a better than even chance, or even I would say even a 25% chance that Panini could win this thing. So I don't know. It's a really good point. It kind of blows your mind when you think about it. Like the way to beat an antitrust lawsuit is to buy your competition. Yeah. Again, this is the year of our Lord 2025 in the United States of America. This feels right. This feels like something that will happen.
That's like the definition of throwing money at it. Right? Like, we'll just pay $2 billion to buy this company. And that I started cracking up when you were talking about it, Mike. So I was thinking, like, stop suing yourself, because they'd just been suing themselves. But then, Joe, you make a great point where, like, why does an Upper Deck sue? Why doesn't Wildcard sue? Why doesn't what's the company that does the patches? The patches on top of cards that exist already, like the weird
Jersey Fusion
sues. Like, everybody sues Fanatics.
Get a little bit of that pie. Yeah.
You sue Fanatics, and you sue Fanatics. Everyone sues Fanatics. We're gonna get sued by Oprah
Fanatics
after that,
right.
and Oprah.
All right. Well, that was the one big story. Before that story came out, the other huge story of the week was the Upper Deck president. I'm going to try to get the name right here. Jason Masherah, I believe is how you say it.
It's pronounced Momoa, but okay.
No, that's a different person.
That's a different person?
Yes. Not the same.
It's
kind of like Neo and Neo. Like,
it's not Maserati, right? You said Masherah?
It might be. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, he is the president of Upper Deck Trading Cards, and he caused quite a stir early last week. He made a pretty innocuous post on LinkedIn. I feel like, first of all, he could be a member on our podcast here, because
100%.
I think he definitely watches the podcast, because he was talking about how high-end speculators were running up the cost of trading cards and making it difficult for average collectors to be able to afford to buy cards. I feel like we've talked about that once or twice.
I was going to say thank you for watching, Jason.
Yeah,
appreciate your viewership.
And he expressed concern about the long-term sustainability of that. He was then interviewed later in the week by Darren Ravel on Collect, and he pretty much doubled down on everything there. He said that trading cards have become part of the new gambling economy, which is a term I really like. And it's very interesting, because I just watched a video on YouTube about gambling and all the different gambling sites and how they're trying to find ways to work around laws to let people under 21 be part of it. So it's absolutely.
There was a John Oliver video about that too. And it's like young kids buy tokens, right?
Yeah,
isn't that what it is? Kids buy tokens. They're not technically using real money. They're buying tokens that then use to gamble. So it's the same thing, but there's a middleman, right?
Yeah. So he compared it to the sports betting and the predictive markets and crypto. He said that there are people taking advantage of the speculative nature of the industry right now and making a lot of money, and said, so they don't like anybody criticizing it. That was in reply to like the pushback he's gotten. And there's been a lot of pushback from some groups, and a lot of people going, yeah, everything he said is absolutely right here. He also had something really interesting where he said that things are being done to manipulate prices in the industry. Some are natural and some are artificial. He said that there's a lot of stuff going on. Prices are being manipulated by shill bidding. There's a lot of shill bidding, unpaid auctions, and a lot of the private sales, saying that some of this stuff, people are bidding stuff up and just making a comp for something that's never being paid. They're making up comps on private sales to push up the price of higher end stuff. They're saying shill bidding. I guess there are actually, he said some of the bigger auction sites actually allow shill bidding too. And Darren Ravel cut in and said, and they're locating in states where that's legal. I never knew that. Apparently there are states where that's not an illegal act by the auction company to do that. Yeah.
States' rights. Yay, states' rights.
Darren Ravel had a good quote. He said, manipulation is now cool. He was talking about how, like, if you were doing things to manipulate prices of cards before, that was always a bad thing and it's not a good thing. But nowadays, the hobby just, if you're able to manipulate something, you have a whole bunch of people going, yeah, look what I was able to do to get the price of this up, and thinking that it's cool.
That's a direct sequel to the GameStop thing we talked about in the past.
Yeah, and they brought that up
valuation.
Too. Yeah. So it's just kind of crazy out there. When asked about regulation, he was the Upper Deck president was a little bit hesitant to say yes, they need regulation, but he did say that, like, with repacks and stuff, that's absolutely gambling. These places that are selling you the digital repacks is like, how that's gambling. There's no way to argue that it's not gambling. And Darren Rebell even said, well, but they do give you a percentage back. They'll buy the stuff back. So it's not like you get zero. And he came back with, yeah, but the payouts in Las Vegas on the slot machines are also like, 95% or something. And eventually you get down to where you have no money. So it's the same thing with that. A couple other points I think that he had here. He was talking about how Upper Deck has not taken advantage of the collectors. He's the head of the company. He's going to say that, but at the
I have some thoughts about that.
I feel like it's true when he was talking about the companies know that if there's a hot player in there, all of a sudden their price on that product for that year is like hundreds of dollars more than it was the year before. And he said that they have products that get hot, but they're not pricing their products because they know something. They're going to let the market make it be hot. The most interesting thing I got out of all this, though, were that, and Joe, you're going to like this because we've talked about this before, that manufacturers are calling sellers to tell them to adjust their price if it's too low and to get it back up to a certain level for fear of losing allocation. You and I have talked about the distributors, how funny we see the big distributors all pricing at the same price. That's way above what a normal market price. There hasn't even been a market set. And we said them setting price, and then a week later, all of a sudden, boom, same price. They go
penny.
Yeah. So a lot to unpack here. But just give me your thoughts. We are all, I think it's safe to say we absolutely agree with what he's saying here. 100%. Yeah, he's right.
I wrote down, this guy's our champion. That was the first thing I wrote down on this thing. I mean, it's everything he said, 100%.
So the first thing I want to mention is it's kind of ironic. We did is the hobby just gambling at this point? We did it last week, right? And the first thing I brought up was it kind of started with Upper Deck and releasing Exquisite. I mean, it's the irony is, and he wasn't the president at the time.
And that was brought up, but like at the same time, and I saw this too in another article on Collect, saying if it wouldn't have been Upper Deck in
someone else would have done it for sure. But they're right, but they're the ones who did it. So we got to at least make mention of that, that was the first big product that ever came out. And like I will say this, the comment about the when other companies see like a hot prospect or a hot product, they Upper Deck doesn't raise their prices. Other companies do, and that's true. I mean, one of the biggest products that they've had. Wait, do you have a?
Did you?
Well, I mean, their price for the Upper Deck for hockey when Bedard was a rookie. Like that, I think they were charging more. I think Upper Deck was charging more for that. I think
was Upper Deck charging more, or
I think Upper Deck was. I think trying to get trying to get it direct. I think that might have been.
Upper Deck doesn't sell much direct to customers, from my understanding.
Maybe it wasn't, but I know the prices were like astronomically higher.
I'll say this: I unless proven wrong, I will always believe that the distributors like the Dave and Adams, the Steel City, whatever they get it for. And I can tell you this from personal experience through Rittenhouse. I know what a distributor is charged for Rittenhouse products. I do. I know how much David Adams is charging for Rittenhouse products.
Mhm.
I assume that is the case with a lot of this stuff. And that kind of leads to my other point, EP, when the president said that he feels Upper Deck is more for the hobbyist, more of the customer focused. I agree. I think it's them and Rittenhouse, because you use, the Bedard example. Maybe that is the case, but
the thing is that's the only case that I can think of where it is the case. So maybe it is,
but he was also a
so.
super hot prospect too.
Maybe
that was the secondary market. Just
that's what I'm thinking. The distributors in the secondary,
it could have been
right. And the bounties that were out for his cards, EP, I think that might have been more of it than the distribution price from Upper Deck, or the direct price from Upper Deck. But you see, what was the hottest movie a couple of years ago? Deadpool Wolverine. They had the perfect opportunity to jack those prices through the park, and they didn't. They were the same prices as pretty much every other Fleer Ultra set out there.
How much?
And I know it's
Joe. How much were they per case?
They were $225 a box.
Okay.
Compare that to any.
I know. I was making a joke.
Product.
I was making a joke about how many cases you bought. I wasn't trying to make a joke about the prices.
Oh, I thought you were okay.
No.
But yeah, I mean, yes, the 3 cases they varied in different prices. But they had that opportunity there, and you look at someone like Rittenhouse, Pedro Pascal autos. By the way, if you're interested in the Game of Thrones, comment down below. $130 a spot.
Panther 27.
No, MRTC or Jode 17821. But they have an opportunity to gouge people as well, because there's something in those products, and they don't. 2 companies do, Fanatics and Panini. So it's 100% right with that. And then what I put here. Oh, Jesus, I can't read my own writing.
Can't read his own writing.
EP, you go ahead. EP, go ahead on that one.
You broke.
Sorry. Yeah, it's the glasses. Whoa, I can't read that. That was the thing. We're all old. We're all almost.
I totally know that, Joe.
Yeah.
You don't know how many.
I can't even. I'm like, what the hell does that say?
Yeah. Well,
all right, EP, it's you.
Okay, all right. Well, the first thing I wrote down a couple things on this, but the manipulate the calls, the people calling in, the manufacturers calling in to the sellers and saying, hey, increase your prices. That's gross. That is horrible. That is the thing that we talked about we thought that all the sellers were calling each other saying, hey, look, we all need to have the same price, but it's actually up in an Upper Deck, but it's actually Panini and Fanatics calling them and saying you need these prices.
Let's be real, it's Fanatics, so, right? That's
it's Fanatics,
or else you'll lose allocation. That's what they're doing to everybody.
Yep. Well, and then the statement, manipulation is cool, and that being a good thing.
No. He Darren Ravel said
no. I'm not
nowadays. That's
right.
A lot of collectors feel.
Yeah. But that makes so much sense. Not in terms of we like it, or that Jason Masherah likes it, or that anybody likes it. But that makes so much sense in this hobby right now, because you think about people that are cleaning cards, you do all sorts of things to cards. And on top of that, people who are cracking cards out of cases, putting other cards in there, closing the cases up and selling them. And the people are going on Twitter and saying, "I'm cracking out this case, this PSA thing." Mike, you were talking about at the card show on Saturday. They cracking these cards out of these cases, and they're blatantly doing it on Twitter, and they're getting people that love it. And that is a scary thing to me. And I'm glad that this guy's our champion, Jason, our champion. Kind of putting all this stuff out
Missouri here. A couple of minutes ago, I'm pretty sure it was Jason Masherah.
I think it was
Masherah.
Masherah. Okay. Well, yeah. I just I feel like this. He's saying all these things that we've said so many times, but he's got a much bigger platform than we do, and I'm glad that he was on Collects and was able to do this. I think it's great. So,
this is all he's absolutely right. Like I said at the beginning, he's 100% right. What happens when all this money that's being invested to the upper end of the hobby goes? What happens if you price out the collectors on the lower end? We've been through card crashes before, market crashes. The people now haven't. I feel like there's just this mentality that they can continue to do anything, manipulate anything. We see influencers do it all the time. We know that now manufacturers are also doing it. At some point, though, the money's going to crash out of this. And somebody's going to decide, you know what? I got enough money. I'm cashing out. And then other people are going to go, oh, he cashed out. I got to do the same. And eventually this is all going to fall apart, and it's not going to affect us, but it's going to affect all these people that are spending tens of millions of dollars on cards. Like the high end of this market, he's absolutely right. It's being inflated by big pocketbooks that are spending ridiculous amounts of money on cards. The rest of us are still here doing our thing, but we have no impact on like the market numbers. It's all from these people. And you've seen it. At some point, it's going to go away. They're going to see the other thing they want to get into. There are people that just here now because they know that I can buy this and I'll make some money on it. Like they talked a little bit about the Babe Ruth card that we talked about last week. That card was never an important card. It was never a historical card. But when it was found and originally sold, the hype machine made that, oh, well, this one was, when it never in all the years of the hobby, that card was from 1914 and we're in 2025. Until 2024, that card wasn't important. So how is it not important for 100 years? And now all of a sudden it's important. They got somebody to believe it. He paid a lot of money for it.
They got two people,
and then lost his ass on it because it was really never that important. Nice. That kind of stuff is going to happen over and over again. But just like I said, when those people at the very top decide to cash out, make their money, and go somewhere else, this hobby is going to be in bad shape.
I don't know why, but when you were talking about the Babe Ruth thing, for some reason I thought to myself, I wonder what Carl from the Black Swamp Fine would have to say about that Babe Ruth card. I just want to hear Carl tell us the story of the Babe Ruth card for hours. I don't know why. Just hours and hours. Had nothing to do with Black Swamp Fine. Had nothing to do with Carl, but I don't know. In my mind, that's where it went. It'll be interesting to see if it does, because are we talking about how it'll affect like if the bottom falls out on these big cards, like will that affect wax prices? Will that affect, cards in the $1,000 and under, the $5,000 and under? Like, is it just like a rising tide lifts all boats, a sinking ship brings everything down with it? Is that kind of the philosophy that we're thinking, or Jason Momoa was thinking as well when he was talking about this? I mean, I don't know if these cards at the high end lose their value if everything goes down, but the people buying into Eminence and Flawless and those type of products, maybe the cost of that to get into that stuff would go down because there's not this rainbow at the end where there's this big pot of gold for whatever you pull out of whatever. I don't know. It does feel like it's just fake money out there, right? It does feel just like it's just these very wealthy people exchanging, paper for paper, so to speak, right? They're exchanging cards for cash back and forth. And if it is cool to manipulate the market, they're having a great time doing it. And is it any different than rich people manipulating the stock market? No. So you've got these rich people, and then eventually, like, maybe they can dupe one of their rich friends into buying this card, and then they're like, okay, cool, I made 10 million on this $2 million card. I don't know if it gets to us though. It might, I don't know how, but it makes sense that it would, but I just can't wrap my mind around how it would.
I think a low tide does sink a lot of the ships. I think what happened, I've said a lot of times that breakers are playing with monopoly money. Like they're the money they are spending to buy the product, and then the money they're getting from people that are doing the breaking. I think that is maybe the area that could potentially really get hit pretty hard. I feel like the kids that are walking around with their Zion cases that are only in it because they have $3,000 worth. The number of cards I looked at the card show on Saturday, where there's, are you buying? I was like, only at 70% of value. They were still opening their case and letting me look at them. And they're talking like kids with like $275 cards, $500 cards, just like in stacks of these cards in their cases. Like they're and when I say kids, I mean like some of them are actual like just this kids like 10 years old carrying around these cases full of these cards. These are the kids that are going to get hurt, and they're not. And again, they're not even in it to really collect. They're in it because of the money part of it, the market part of it, which is that's fine. It's cool to learn that as a young kid for 100%. But for the people like us who are in
certain young kids,
sure. Sure. But for us who are in it for the cards, for we enjoy the cards, we enjoyed the characters and the players that are on the cards, the designs of the cards, and the history behind the cards. I think we're going to be fine. And I think it's, if anything, it might affect us positively if it did crash. And I think to the original point, Mike, about the crash, I mean, like you said, we witnessed it. It's going to happen. Like this is a locomotive right now, a freight train, just like it seems like it's going to be nonstop, but it always crashes. It's going to crash. Something's going to happen. It's going to crash, and it's going to go. I'm not going to go to zero, but a lot of these people with super high end stuff, especially like the ultra modern stuff, I fear they're going to be in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, and it will affect us because if the more expensive stuff is now cheaper, the cheaper stuff has to get even cheaper. Right, yeah. But I'm not as concerned about a card I spent $20 on being worth 10 or 5 as somebody who might have spent $40,000 on a card that now is going to be worth like $1,000 maybe. So it will affect us, but the relative impact on people that just collect normal cards isn't going to be.
That's an interesting question. So what do you guys think is the like that level? Like, is it cards that are $1,000 and over start to get more effective? Like, where do we think that line is? Because there are certain cards that even pre-pandemic were, it was $1,000 card then. Chris Sewell actually had a really good video on this. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at it. It was like kind of pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, and see, the good, the bad, and the normal or something he called it. And there were a lot of cards that pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, the prices are around the same. So they've, maybe incrementally cost of living adjustment kind of thing. But like, where's that line at? Where do we think that, oh shit, I have a lot of money invested in $50,000 cards or in $10,000 cards. When should we start to get worried? At what price point?
I think like 1,000 plus is probably where it's at. I think it's pretty close to where it's at. Like as much as I love the 89 Upper Deck Griffey, like, and there's some for $4,500 now. I feel like that price is probably going to go down at some point. Like, it might go up a little bit more, but that feels like a lot of money for a card there are a lot of PSA 10s out there. Well, for a card with that many cards that are out there, $4,500 seems like a crazy amount of money. And so like that's like a pretty good example of a card that probably shouldn't be at that price. And I think people are buying it now. We're probably gonna be upset when it does crash, when the market does crash, because that's a card that I could see people realizing, hey, look, there's like a bazillion of these out there. I can't talk. So I mean, I feel I think it's like $1,000 is probably where people start to get worried. Like just $10,000, absolutely 100%. Like we get up to that high, but like $1,000 worth, I think people start to get a little bit worried. That's the number there. So
shit.
Well, the thing is, the difference is, Joe, I think if those cards all went to zero, you still have all those Patrick Stewart autographs.
I'd still love them. I'd still love them.
You'd be disappointed about the amount of money, but that's the difference between you and a lot of these people, though. Yeah, right. But that's the difference between a lot of these people. Is like you still would love them, they still stay in your case. But I think a lot of people would be like, they would never care about cards ever again in their lives, where you would still love those cards that you have behind you.
And that's a special thing you have there, Joe. I think you're fine. Like 10,000 and up, I think is really impacted. Lower than that, depends on what it is. Some things might be, some things aren't going to be. But yeah, like EP, that at least the Griffey card, that's the Griffey card. That's like a historic card. And there are cards that are always going to have value. Like I don't think the 52 Mantle's going to be, $4 million card from 12 million. I think all those cards, they're always going to be, because they're historic, they're special, they've always been special, they'll always be special. The Griffey has gone up because collectors like us have gotten back into the hobby, I would say, because there's so many people that love that card and collect that card. And I would be willing to bet there are a lot of people that that's the only card they have in their collection that's worth over like $500. But that, if they spend money on one card, it would be that card. So $4,500 is a lot for that card. It may go down some, but I don't think that card's ever going to be like a $500 card again. But
Rats.
like, yeah,
like,
I'm
gonna buy one.
Open for crash.
What do you guys think of the idea though that because Fanatics has most of the licenses for how long? What's the longest license they have?
20 years for football and 10 for basketball, I believe.
It's ridiculous.
Right. So and they'll probably re-up basketball, after the 10 years or whatever. Like, especially if they buy Panini, right? Circling back to the other thing, who's going to go after it that could afford it? So like with Michael Rubin being so invested into cards, will he let it fail? I mean, there is at a certain point, like, I don't want to say too big to fail, but when you have a lot of people with a lot of money invested into this, beyond like the Jeff Wilsons of the world who are just collectors, but like Nat Turner, who's an actual rich person, or Michael Rubin, who's an actual rich person, Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, actual rich person. Like, they have a lot of money invested in these things. At a certain point, they're going to be like Tobey Maguire trying to stop the subway, right? A little bit, holding it back to make sure that it doesn't go off of a cliff. I think that plays into it a little bit. I think while there quite possibly might be a crash, I think too many rich people are too leveraged.
Yeah,
if you see Michael Rubin start to sell Fanatics,
they all sell. They all sell at the same time. That's what happens, right, Mike?
What if they're the ones to sell? They're going to be the first ones to sell because they're like, tell me Kevin O'Leary if he feels like, oh, I've made money. Mr. Wonderful. Yeah. Tell me that he won't sell. He doesn't give a damn about cards. Right. He's just in here to make money. So when he gets to the point where he's made the return he wants to make off it, and wants that money then to go reinvest in something else, he's going to do it. And that's the point that's being made here. And that's the problem. Like, we kind of think, oh, a lot of these people buying these cards are collectors. They're not. Like, very few of them are. A lot of people buying the expensive stuff are just here to make money. And those people come and go because there's got to be something else that you can make money on. That's happened in this hobby.
They might not even touch the card. They might not even.
I'm sure they don't. Yeah.
Mr.
Absolutely.
Wonderful even said he did not look at that dual auto logo man. He didn't even touch it.
Yeah, there's investing in this exciting new asset class is all they're doing. And that's the bottom line. I forget what was I even heard of somebody like used a term for the money that they were putting into it, like this weird term about like an investment capital. Like, it wasn't that word, but it was like some strange thing. I was like, it was like so gross, but like all the words like lined up together, like almost made me vomit. I was like, this one podcast, it was terrible.
Yeah, I don't know where this hobby ends up after that money leaves, but I guarantee you that money does leave at some point because there's always something else to invest in.
There is, and that gets back to something we said on this channel for as long as we've had it. Collect what you love, and to your point, EP, where if all these went to zero, I'd still love the cards. That's kind of how you need to look at it. Like, be happy if like a card spikes here and there, and maybe think about selling it to put back into the hobby or whatever. But if you collect actually things you enjoy and like, when the eventuality comes where things start to crash down, at least you have something that you can enjoy having. And
if we have any labor issues with one of these sports leagues, baseball or football or basketball,
isn't WNBA? Isn't there a chance they could lock out for next year or something like that?
I think
WNBA is. There's a chance for that. Yeah.
So like, there's a lot that can affect it. I remember the early 90s, everything was riding high. When you're in it, you think it's always going to continue. Like, that's naivete of being young and not going through the different cycles of something. It's always just going to keep going on like it does until you learn that it doesn't do that. You need to be one of the first people jumping off the ship instead of being the last person going down with it, which would probably be you'll go down with the ship, right?
Definitely. If baseball doesn't have a World Series, guess what? Cards are going to be in trouble. Like, if all of a sudden, if there's a lockout and they don't have the World Series, like, look out.
Yeah. All right. Well, boy, we talked about a lot today. Let's talk a little bit quickly about some grading numbers because I thought these were interesting. PSA graded 1.97 million.
Road to 200, baby.
Oh my gosh. Almost 2 million cards, up 27% from last month. CGC did 530,000. Beckett 93,000. SGC 51,000. Tag 50,000.
Yeah, tag bots.
How about that? So, and AGS, I don't even know what that is, graded 49.8 thousand cards.
2 new contenders? Oh my gosh, what's going on?
Get to the Pokemon numbers. 1.27 million PSA graded. CGC 459. Beckett 65,000. Tagged at 48,000. And I think I got those numbers wrong. I think SGC actually did 50,000 and Tag did 51,000. So your boutique grader, come on with that. Just stop. But yeah, AGS though, right there with your boutique grader.
So I looked up AGS quickly. They are big onto fully AI card grading platform, the world's first and only fully AI card grading platform. Their slabs kind of look like PSA slabs, like even the label, but just different colors. So it looks very similar to a PSA slab, PSA label, just different color on the label, but it's fully AI grading. So maybe people are trying that out. Who knows? Once they stop getting all 10s, they will probably stop using fully AI grading. Because no one's sending in a card to get accurately graded. Let's be honest.
Well, maybe the AI will learn by reading the internet that people want 10s. So
that's actually a really good point.
Oh, the humans want 10. They want a 10. So give them all 10.
If it was fully computerized grading, then yeah. But fully AI, you're right, Mike. They're going to read social media and be like, "Whoa, 10s for everyone." That's completely possible. SGC pour one out. I mean, I'm not going to pour it on my computer, but it is sad. They've been overtaken by Tag, and honestly, cheers to SGC. It's been a fun run. Good on Tag. The Tag bots are thrilled, I'm sure. 2 million cards in a month is next month, right? For PSA. I think at that point, it's unbelievable. I made a prediction. I forget when we did these videos, but we did like prediction videos. And my prediction was grading was going to go down. I did not know Pokemon was going to be as huge because if I just said sports card grading is going to go down, I would have been 100% spot on. But Pokemon came in to save the day. And for anyone questioning, I think there were comments or comments that some of our viewers made about, well, why would they lower or raise the price of sports cards and not Pokemon cards? It's because they're not getting many sports cards in. They need to raise that price. Pokemon, it's the floodgates are freaking open and they are grading things left and right for Pokemon. And I'm wondering if Pokemon is easier to grade, quicker to grade, maybe even.
Probably.
Especially ultra modern stuff. The quality control is really good with that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's just wild to look at. It's wild to look at all these grading numbers. And again, if you said to BGS 10 years ago, you're grading X amount of cards, they're thinking they're ruling the world.
But all of these companies are grading, except for SGC, they're grading Pokemon cards and trading card game.
Yeah.
What happens? That market is going to cool down. Like,
no, it's not, Mike. Are you kidding?
Is no
this thing's never happened.
Way that this market can continue. Like, it is just insane that they're grading. What's this? 2 million, almost 2 million Pokemon cards a month combined. Like, what happens to PSA when the
who's
Pokemon
playing the goddamn game?
Nobody.
No one is playing Pokemon.
I mean, with that many cards being graded, there's a lot of room for people to grade and also play the game. Like, just the number of cards. I was talking with the dealers at the card show, and a couple of them were joking like we should get into Pokemon. It's like I don't know anything about it. It's like me neither, but like it makes sense to get into it at this point. Like there's so many people, so much money, and I forget the exact the conversation I had with one of the dealers, but just like the amount of money that people are spending on Pokemon in the hobby right now is ridiculous.
That's the real bubble, even right?
Compared to like that, exactly,
absolutely. Yeah. It reminds me of comic books in the 90s. You had, sports cards got hot. And then comic books started to follow. Then you had all the people who were selling sports cards got into comics, myself included. Then all of a sudden, everybody was selling comics. And then that died and it crashed really hard. It's going to happen with Pokemon because there are a lot of Pokemon collectors. I understand the kids that bought cards from me are grown-ups now, and they have kids, and they're sharing what they loved as a kid with their kid. And it's like a perfect storm for that right now. But at the same time, you also have all the other people who just got into it to make money off of it. You see the people that are cleaning out the shelves at Target and stuff. Those aren't people that collected as a kid that are sharing it with their kid. They're people that are just trying to make money off of it. And the sports card dealers that have gotten into it, it screams comic books from the 80s. And we're going to have a Turok 1 moment coming here pretty soon.
Yes, Turok 1. The amount, by the way, as an aside, real quick on Turok 1, I gotta make this hit quick, EP. Every comic book video I watch of people going to flea markets and going to different stores, Turok 1 is always at least 10 to 15 copies of it. It's always right there.
Because sports card dealers bought cases. I bought a case of them. Yeah. I can't imagine with the bigger sports card dealers. They bought tens and tens of cases of Turok 1.
Turok was basically like a Conan with dinosaurs.
It was based on a video game, wasn't it? No. There's the video game that was a flop.
Other way around.
Oh, the video game was based on the comic book that only had one copy?
Yeah,
wow, okay.
No, there were multiple copies.
Turok 1 is the one that everybody
has
jokes about.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. So Mike, what you're saying is like we should all invest in comic books because that's the next. Like it was.
Ironically, though,
I didn't say that. I
think Mike said so. Just buy cases of comic books right now.
No, don't do that. Ironically, comic books are having a downturn. Like a lot of the channels I watch, comic books have hit that point, kind of like sports cards did a couple of years ago before they kind of rebounded again, are at that point. Like everything to what we've been talking about the whole episode pretty much. There are going to be those little inflection points, right? Where people start to realize how stupid this is, that they're putting in millions and millions and millions of dollars across the board on some of these collectibles. Hopefully for the parents who actually want to teach their kids how to play Pokemon and have fun with Pokemon, unfortunately for them, if it blows up, they might actually be able to enjoy the hobby a little bit more. Right. It's like when the One Ring came out where everyone was buying the Magic the Gathering card to get that 101 card. And then once it got pulled, it was like, oh, thank God, actual people who want to participate in this can buy it now. So hopefully that happens with Pokemon. It's got to, though. And what do the grading companies do to bring it full circle when they lose almost 2 million almost?
Yeah, just about combined.
2 million cards combined across all the grading companies. What's going to happen when Pokemon crashes? That is the banking, the mortgage crisis all over again with cards. When that gets pulled out, that's 2 million cards that are not going to be graded from these companies that built out these huge companies to grade Pokemon cards, basically.
And PSAs was like 1.97 million, but 1.27 million of it was Pokemon cards, right? So only like 70,000 or 700,000 was sports cards, right?
Which is still a lot. Don't get me wrong, but they're not built to only grade 7. They're not built to only grade 700,000 cards.
They'll be shutting down.
They are built to grow 1.5 million.
Yeah.
Plus,
All right. Well, I feel we went a little long today. We give you a little bit extra for your money there. So we won't charge you. Maybe we will. I don't know. We'll do a short one next week.
No, we won't.
Half-hour podcast next week. But I think we said all that needs to be said. That was a pretty good chat this week. And I will see you next week. Take care, boys.
Fuck you.
Arrivederci.